if you know you're feeling me, yo. Keeping this game on lock is epitome, yo. We the best and forever switching up this flow. On top, we forever scooping up this dough. Yo, yeah, it's real. We together. Any time of year, you know we changing the weather. Yes, check the rhyme, check the beat.
Good evening. It is Monday, January 3rd, 2022. That's right, 2022. We're in a new year, but basketball show, we don't have to change too much because we're doing it right. We're actually starting a few minutes early tonight just so we can get picks in on the games that tip off at 8:10. So we're actually early, which is, again, a rarity for us. We want to bring on the King. He's been red hot with the NBA picks. King, how you doing? This is beginning of week 12 of the NBA season. We are 44% down with the NBA season, believe it or not. And we got about 3 games that tip in the next 10 minutes. So I want to kind of get through those quick. But how you doing?
Doing okay. We've been killing it on basketball picks. I don't know why we haven't brought enough attention to ourselves, but I mean, we're probably doing what, like a 750? We're batting 750.
I would.
Where we're at almost.
We're definitely hot, and even the last week, when I stopped by the bar with you, and we had knocked down a few tequilas. We put down actually more than a few tequilas, and we hit both bets even that night. So we got to ride the streak while we're hot. You're right. We got to get the word out. We got to keep riding this thing. So we're gonna get Big Stu on. I know he was a little busy today. Stu, how you doing?
Doing well. How's it going, guys? Yeah, busy beginning of the year, that's for sure. Yeah, we've been doing pretty good with the basketball picks. Definitely better than I've been doing with college football picks. That's for sure. Keep that going.
Yeah, we'll hit a little football after we get these first 3 picks in, because I definitely want to talk about a couple things there. Even though this is a basketball show.
Also, one thing I wanted to touch on too later is that I took the teams that we gave check marks from the West and East.
Yeah.
Compiled them together. We have 15 franchises that we thought were great.
Okay.
So I can review those later.
All right, cool. All right, that's fun. All right, so let's jump in here. So go to Bet Online. We're gonna make quick analysis of 3 games that tip off in the next few minutes here. So we got the Pistons at the Bucks. Bucks are favored by 17. Obviously, big number. Obviously, Milwaukee's red hot. Detroit is Detroit. What do King? I'll go to you first while I look up the injuries in that game. But again, it's Milwaukee laying 17 at home against Detroit.
All right, so there's a bunch of questions I would want to know immediately. One, injury report, right? 2, who played yesterday? Like who played the most recently? And then 3, how have the Pistons been in the last 2 or 3 games? So let me just look at it myself.
Yeah, so I'll look at
Kev? Those are my 3 questions. I think if you answer those 3 questions, you'll figure out who you want to take. So who played yesterday? Did either one of them?
Well, hold on. I have the injury stuff in front of me right now, so I can do that fast. Tons of guys out on each team, of course. Frank Jackson is out for Detroit. Isaiah Stewart out for Detroit. Corey Joseph out for Detroit. Isaiah Livers out. Derek Walton Jr. out. Kelly Olynyk out. Semi Ojeleye out. Jordan Nwora. That's Milwaukee. But those are all the guys that are out for Detroit. So they got a lot of guys on the injured list. Milwaukee's looking a little better. Semi Ojeleye is actually on Milwaukee. He's out. Jordan Nwora is out, as is Giannis's brother, Thanasis.
It just comes down to big names. If there's no big names out, on either side, then it's not really that big a deal, right, Stu? Because they'll just play more minutes if they have to when you're down, when you're on demand. So if Milwaukee's got all their basic guys, then Giannis might be out there longer than he should be in a route. So then they're gonna go over 17. I'm gonna go with Milwaukee minus 17.
Stu, what do you think? What do you think of that number?
It's a high number, but Detroit's kind of a mess with the whole health and safety protocol situation. I know they got some guys coming back. I know Cunningham's back. That he's the kind of the real add there because he was playing well before he went out with the whole COVID situation. But they said he's only going to be playing like in spurts. They said all the guys coming back are only going to be playing in spurts. The one thing I noticed about Detroit is Hamidou Diallo and Sadiq Bey have been going crazy. Now, Hamidou Diallo went crazy last year, too. Whenever he gets minutes, he puts up huge numbers. I mean, he had like 30 points a couple of times that last week, and he had like 8 or 9 rebounds and something like that with assists, too. So he's been putting up big numbers. Can Hamidou Diallo and Sadiq Bey, keep the Pistons afloat with, guys playing in spurts? I don't think so. Milwaukee's just a much better team, even if Detroit was full, at full strength. So I'm going to go with the King on this. I'm going to go with Milwaukee in a blowout.
They're trying to scare you with that spread,
That's huge. Yeah, like as we say the bets, I'm putting them in case so I don't get locked out. All right, so it's Milwaukee minus 17. Next one, Orlando's going to Chicago. Chicago is laying 13.5, another big number. See if what it looks like for big names being out for that game.
I wish I could see your chart that shows what they've done in the last couple of games.
I can't.
My memory's not correct about the Bulls. The
Bulls are really hot. They're either 3-1 or 3-0 the last week.
That's what I thought.
I mean, like half of Orlando is out.
Yep.
Yeah. Cole Anthony's out. Jalen Suggs is out. Wagner's out. Robin Lopez out. Michael Carter-Williams out. So, there's a ton of people out on the Orlando side.
So you got to go. You got to put the Bulls at home then. It's 13.5. I'll put the Bulls at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that down right now. And the last one that we have to kind of rush through, and then we have a little more time on the next batch, is Jazz going to New Orleans. The Jazz are laying 8.5 on the road.
I think Utah is pretty much full strength. In New Orleans is without. I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is actually playing. What's the spread, Kev?
8.5.
9.
So Utah. You see a 9. I got 8. I got 8.5. Utah laying 8.5 at New Orleans. And let me just see if let me look at the injury one here. Yeah.
Stu's taking a little bit of time, so I'm going to jump in if you want to bet really quick and go with Utah. They're going to smash them. It's only 9 on the road. I mean, they're going to smash. They're such a better team. Utah's going to win.
The other thing I'll say is Ingram is in for New Orleans, as is Valanciunas. Valanciunas is in for New Orleans also. Does that change anything for you?
No.
There aren't any stars out for Utah.
Yeah, that's what I really want to know, whether Valanciunas was playing, because he's a big player for them. He's been playing well all year, but I'm going to go with King again. I like Utah in this game. New Orleans is just not a very good team, so Utah's been solid. I'm just going to go with Utah.
So we're going all favorites. All right, let me see if I can get this one down. It may have just closed, but I'm going to try to get this one down. All right, Jen. So now you can take a breath. I'll put up the chart. We'll get things a little bit more organized. Kind of made a quick decision to get through those games. So I'm glad we did it. But now we'll kind of organize things a little bit here. So let's bring up the chart. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that last game in, but the two I got in, I got the first two that we talked in.
All right, good.
Yeah. All right. So the next batch of games tips off at 8:40.
So then, Kev, would now be a good time to go a little off course because we probably got about 5 minutes to spare here.
Sorry, go over what?
A little off course.
Nice, a live auction. Right? Let's see if we can win another helmet.
No, we're not doing a live. Not yet. You're talking about the corrupted bowl, the legit bowl, right?
The fact that we started the legit fantasy football league. We had every member that's been on one of our podcasts. They all took teams. Other people took teams. It was supposed to be, Kev, a league of like the best of the best. That's how they were billing it. You know what I mean? Like they were like, oh,
so they were billing it.
Even down the Joy Paranormal. Oh, I'd crush my own league. everybody crushes leagues, right, Kev?
Yep.
It comes down to the final game, the championship game tonight, and who might it be? It's me, Mike Lepre, versus you, the genius, Kev. I have one player left. You have none. You got me by about 14 points, 13, 14 points. I have Deontay Johnson going for me, which is really weird because I traded him to you in the other league that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a weird thing going on tonight with this. So I don't know. I don't even know what he's going to get the points needed.
Well,
I'm at 140.74. You're 153.36.
I think if he gets 14 points, you'll pull it off. So 7 catches, 70 yards would do it. If Big Ben loves him, if he uses him like he's been using him, I could be in for it could be over very quickly for me.
Does he need 5 catches, 100 yards?
I think there's a bonus if you pass 100. I think it's like a 3-point bonus if you go over 100, something like that. I don't know off the top of my head. But I'm really worried because Cleveland is out mathematically. They can't make the playoffs. So the spread flipped all the way from Cleveland Cleveland minus 3.5 to now it's Cleveland plus 2.5. So it's 5-point swing. So just figuring they're going to mail it in. Big Ben's last game, all that.
Ain't
so
running it.
Yeah.
He's not calling a run. Ben's going to come out of the huddle and want to call a run. He's like, my last game, I'm throwing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even the detriment. He might throw 3 interceptions. He's going out slinging. Stu, what do you think?
Cleveland and Pittsburgh tonight.
No, what do you think about
know.
Ben though? He's just going to sling it, right? Last game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you would probably think so. I mean, if this is going to be his last game, then he's probably going to throw a lot. It's going to be like Kobe Bryant's last game for Los Angeles.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just a douche factor. Like he's going to do something. We all know he's going to do it. Like he's been saving up all his mojo for this last game on national TV at home, and he's going to be zoom. I bet he throws at least 3 or 4 bombs in the first half. At least 3 or 4 end zone bombs. You're like, whoa.
He has been playing pretty good, surprisingly, because he was really bad, and then he had a pretty good stretch near the end of the season. So I have no confidence in Ben Roethlisberger ever. I've had him in the past, and he's always burned me. So I wouldn't get my hopes up with Ben, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, and I just hope the Steelers. I hope neither Steelers nor anyone else decides to go give him another chance next year. It's not because I don't like him. It's just because his arm is shot. Everyone knows it's shot. He has that little run, like Stu just said, and everyone's like, wow, fantasy-wise, he's putting up some numbers. He can't throw the ball with accuracy past 10 yards downfield. Anytime he does that, he's looking for a pass interference call. He's just throwing it into someone with single coverage and hoping. So I hope, Denver doesn't think, wow, we got Big Ben. But I would love to see Aaron Rodgers go to Pittsburgh. I just think that would be that would be a huge douchebag move, and I think he would be perfect there.
I know this is a basketball show, and I don't want to go too much into the football, but I've never seen a player get as much ridicule as Aaron Rodgers over really nothing. That guy's always been criticized. ESPN has a vendetta against Aaron Rodgers. They have a segment on him every other day about how Aaron Rodgers is no good. He lied and all this stuff.
Dude,
what has he done?
I have a new term for that. I call it crossing the view. Basically, when you make the view mad at you, you're done. You're done, son. It's a wrap. Your whole career is done. You're labeled, whatever you're labeled, and you're done. And they say the worst things about you as fact.
I know.
View.
He's well-spoken. He's a nice guy. I don't know why people are always kind of giving him so much,
Well, he's got a douchebag face, Stu. He makes douchebag faces. He does.
He is crazy. I mean, he doesn't talk to his family. He has all these weird relationships.
Well, it's the other way around. It's his family that seems crazy.
Yeah. But I love him as a pitchman. I could watch those State Farm commercials all day. When he throws the axe and it doesn't stick in, he's like he does one of these. And
I like Aaron Rodgers, but you would never know by the media. And it's he's public enemy number 1 every other day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't get it either because he seems like he'd be fun to talk to and hang out with. But I did see a picture of him with a man bun, so that makes him suspect.
True. All right, let's get to the rest of the games. We can get these out of the way.
Yeah, we might as well get back to basketball since this is the basketball show.
The minute we hit man bun, I was like, we went too far.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. So I got my stats up here. I got the spreadsheet if you want to share it, so you can quickly see who's hot and who's not, and then we'll get to those next 3-4 games. All right, so I'm going to share my Excel. Allow. All right, so that's the East. If I have to flip to the West, I can do that. Oh, what happened?
There it is.
And then you guys know if you go to the bottom right of the screen, you can hit the little square and make it full size.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so let me go to the first game here coming up. Let's go. So on Bet Online, we got 8:40 p.m. tip. We got the Nuggets going to Dallas. So Denver is getting 2.5 on a trip to Dallas. Over under is 213. If I switch over to the West, you can see where those two teams rank. Both teams are hot. Denver's 2-0 the last week. Mavs are 3-1. Luka's close to returning. I'm not sure if he's back tonight. I'm going to check my injury report here quickly. So let's see. So Monty Morris is out for Denver. Jeff Green out for Denver. I don't even know how to pronounce that guy's name. Zeke Naji out for Denver. That's pretty much it on the Denver side. On Dallas, it looks like Porzingis is out. Willie Cauley-Stein is out. Jaquan McLaughlin out. Trey Burke out. Isaiah Thomas out. Boban Marjanovic, one of my favorites, is out also. I don't have anything on Luka. Do you guys know if he's in? See anything?
I think he's playing tonight.
Yeah, I think he is too. All right, so we got again Denver getting 2.5 going into Dallas. Obviously, Jokic is playing and Luka is playing. Other guys out on Denver. Austin Rivers out. J. Michael Green out. Bol out. Bones is out. And Bones is in and Aaron Gordon is in for Denver. So it looks like a lot of the big names are in on the Denver side. Dallas side, they get Luka back, but Porzingis is out. So, King, what do you think of that? Dallas going to Denver, going to Dallas.
I love Denver. I love Denver.
Right.
Dallas is a mess. Take Denver. Trust me on this one. That's going to be an easy game. Dallas is a mess. I'll take Denver either way.
All right, Stu, what do you think?
I'm gonna go Denver too. I feel like Denver is one of the hardest teams to pick every game, just because I don't know what you're gonna get. I will say though, like Dallas, they've entered the twilight zone of picks, adding players to their roster. They have Isaiah Thomas and Brandon Knight. I'm like, what is this? Like 2014? Where are all these guys coming from? Like they don't play in the G League. The D League, whatever they call it. It's like, where are they coming from? That 3-on-3 tournament that they play? I'm like, where are these guys coming from? But I'm gonna go with the King. I'm gonna go with Denver on that.
Yeah, and then just so you guys know, like an advanced stats on this stuff. The Mavericks, in terms of net rating, are third best in the league over the last 5 games. So they are definitely hot. The Nuggets are the third ranked over the past 5 games. The Mavericks are not even in the top 20. I can't even find them. So they're not all that hot in the last few games. So all right, so put down a bet on Denver there, plus 2.5. All right, the next one's gonna be interesting. We got the Hawks going to Portland. Hawks are getting 4.5. If we look at the sheet here, Portland again free falling as usual. 0-3 the last week. Atlanta, let's see, they're 1-2 over the last week. So battle of two teams, kind of sinking here. In terms of injuries, wrong one. In terms of injuries, we have these things are so hard to read. There's so many guys. So for Atlanta, these are guys that are off the injury report. So Cooper is off the injury report. Gallinari off the injury report. So these guys should be playing. Timothy Cabral, however you pronounce his name, is off the injury report. Okongwu off the injury report. Daylon Wright off the injury report. Kevin Hoyt, what does Ray call him? Red Velvet off the injury report. So a lot of guys for Atlanta are coming back. The only guys that are out though, we got DeAndre Hunter hurt, Bogdanovich hurt, Don Collins out, and Malik Ellison is out. So Atlanta's in a weird shape here. So I read a bunch of names that are coming in that I don't really recognize, and a bunch of guys out that are contributors.
So Kev,
yeah,
which team has a better system or a more defined system? Which team has a better system or a more defined system that you can notice it's a system?
That's a good question. I don't like either one of these team systems. I thought I wasn't a big fan of Nate McMillan last year. I thought they kind of got a little bit lucky. But of the two, I would say Atlanta's a better team. Atlanta's at least got some success over the past couple of seasons.
That's what I go with. Yeah. That's what I would go with tonight. Coming in, going out, either way.
You should.
They're a better team.
I wish I could show you this list. It's like 25. It's like 20 players long. And then the only thing I'll mention on the Portland side is Dame is out, McCollum's out, Brandon Williams is out. Those are the big names there. Nurkic is out also. So wow. Okay, so everyone's out on Portland.
That's what I was gonna say. Like Portland doesn't have anybody tonight. I mean, what's the spread? I'm going with Atlanta, but what's the spread?
How is the spread? Atlanta's laying 4.5. All right, we gotta go with Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta all day.
Yeah. It's tough reading these injury reports, and I'm sure it's confusing to keep track of all the names, but I don't know a better way to do it. Next one, Miami going to Golden State. Miami is getting 10.5, going into the Bay Area to play the Warriors. I think the Warriors are relatively healthy. Let's look fast. Oh, good. This one's at least this one's workable here. So for Miami, Haslam is out. Who else is big? Duncan Robinson is out. Dwayne Dedmon is out. So there's a few guys out for. There's actually a large number of guys out for Miami, but no, none of the huge names. But I'll go through it fast. Haslam is out. Garrett is out. PJ Tucker questionable. I think he's going to play. Markieff Morris is out. And then, like I said, Dedmon and Duncan Robinson are out. For the Warriors, Draymond Green is back. He's going to be in. Klay Thompson obviously still injured, but that's it. So injury-wise, Golden State's going to have pretty much their whole team.
And Miami's still without Adebayo. I mean, I think it's going to be easily Golden State tonight.
Yeah. So you think lay the 10.5 to Golden State?
Yeah, I do. Just because – yeah, I mean, I think so. Just because, Miami's got Kyle Lowry. He's been playing well. But without Adebayo, and they got those other guys, those role players out as well. And Golden State's full strength, that's big. So 10.5 doesn't all seem all that big in the grand scheme of things. So I'm going to go with the Warriors.
All right, King, what do you think on that? Oh, you there? Am I there? Oh, he dropped off. Where'd he go? He dropped himself off. All right, Stu, we're going with, I like that. I like your logic there. Too many guys out of Miami, and Golden State's pretty much at full strength. Miami has been hot the last couple of games, but analytics-wise, Golden State is like crushing it. So we'll go with them there. And then last game to talk through quickly is Minnesota getting 3.5, traveling to the Clippers. Let's see. Hopefully, this is a clean game too. Yeah, not too many players on the injured list. Unfortunately, they're big names for Minnesota. They're going to be without KAT. They're going to be without D'Angelo Russell. Those are the only two things on their injury report. You got on the Clippers side, Hardenstein is out. Luke Kennard is out. Brandon Boston is out. Zubac is out. And then the only good news is Marcus Morris is back, and Scrub and Nicholas Batum are questionable. So the big one here is Minnesota's without Towns and without Russell.
Yeah, Minnesota's without Towns. Like the Clippers are without, I think, like half their team.
Yeah, exactly.
In a day.
So that's the part that's difficult. So how do you? That's why these games are so hard to pick right now, because you're right. Like, okay, Minnesota's missing two superstars. Clippers are missing half the team.
Yeah, they're like impossible to pick. right now. The thing is with the Clippers, they have a lot of guys out. For depth purposes, it's going to hurt them. But the only guy of like really any significant value is really Nicholas Batum. He's been playing well, and Morris too. So there's nobody else out that really moves the needle for Los Angeles. I mean, Reggie Jackson's playing, Eric Bledsoe's playing, and Minnesota without Towns and Russell. I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I don't like the Clippers, but I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I would have liked to have taken the Timberwolves in this game, but without Towns and Russell, I got to go with the Clippers.
Yeah. And I always say that guy's name, Batum's name, wrong. I'm gonna try to remember it going forward. But
I also like Golden State.
Minnesota's been playing like up and down this year. They're like kind of a cool team to watch, and but do you know the seriousness of Towns' injury and Russell's injury? Is it just I couldn't tell if it was just COVID or if they're actually hurt.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I like Golden State too. Really quick. Sorry.
We already went by that one.
I know, but then I also wanted to say I like Golden State, and I kind of like the Timberwolves in this game. Here's my reasoning. I think this might be one of those a bunch of guys get to play type nights for the Timberwolves, and they score a bunch of points. You know those useless points nights that they'll have sometimes, like where guys will be like, "Oh, more playing time." You know, they're not sore like everybody else is, and they go out there and they score like 20-something points each. I like the Timberwolves tonight for that reason. I know it sounds weird.
Yeah, I hope Jared Vanderbilt has a big night. I have him on my fantasy team, so I mean, hopefully he can put up some big numbers tonight because he's gonna need to put up big numbers if they want to keep up with the Clippers without, like I said, Russell and Towns.
I'm with you. You go ahead.
So what do we think, Stu? Did you get convinced to go with Minnesota, or are you gonna stay on the Clippers?
Like I want to take Minnesota because I don't like the Clippers, but Towns and Russell are just too big, I think, for them to win the game. Well, maybe Mike's right. Maybe the role players in the the bench.
What is the spread? They got to stay within how many? Yeah,
3.5.
Yeah, well, hell, why not?
You know what? See, that's a tough bet for me to make. I might have to go with the. I might have to go with the Clippers on this.
It's just the question is who for Minnesota is going to step up. That's the question. I mean, it's going to have to be a huge night from Anthony Edwards.
Exactly. That's all I keep thinking in my head, Stu. Anthony Edwards is going to go for like 40-something points tonight because there's
Edwards and Malik Beasley and Vanderbilt putting up the defensive stats. I mean, it makes a convincing argument for Minnesota with the now that we kind of fleshed it out that way. But I'm still going to go with the Clippers.
All right. Since I'm the one putting the money down, I'm gonna go with the Clippers. But King, your case is persuasive. I just can't do it, especially since it's in LA. All right. So what we have down on these last 4 games, we like Denver getting 2.5 going to Dallas. We like the Hawks laying 4.5 going into Portland. We like Golden State laying 10.5 with the Heat coming to town. And we have split decision on this last one, but the money is going with Clippers laying 3.5 at home against the Timberwolves. So I'm putting that down right now.
I feel confident about those.
Yeah, well, the only one we really disagree with is the last one, and yeah, it's tough getting to those injury reports, man. I'm like, the Hawks one was crazy. There's like 20 guys with a whole bunch that are coming off injury and a bunch that are going on. It's a mess. So hopefully we'll get a little cleaner over the next couple of weeks. All right, so we got our bets down. Let me flip the spreadsheet here over to the East. There's a lot going on in the in the NBA right now, and so we usually go by conference. And the last couple of times we went into some detail. We kind of did deep dives on some of these teams, but there's so much news. I'm going to kind of defer to you guys a little bit, and I'll throw out some storylines. We can go with those storylines, or you can go deep into into something else. But the Bulls have been playing phenomenally well. They're 4-0 last week. DeMar DeRozan hit 2 game winners in a row over the weekend. He's looking like a perfect fit there. They're at 24-10. They're at the top of the East right now. The projections have them winning the East. We'll see if that holds up. So that's one of the stories. I wanted to get your quick comments, and I'm just going to read through these quick, and then we'll go back and we'll go into detail, whichever ones you guys want to pick up. Maybe pick one or two up each. Cavs are getting Rondo in a trade with the Lakers. I think that's going to be interesting. They replace Rubio with Rondo. I think that's a net loss, but whatever, we'll see. For the Nets, you got Kyrie coming back. He's supposed to play Wednesday night against Pacers. He's going to be playing road games, except for road games in, I think, Toronto and one or two other cities have vaccination requirements. So he's going to be a part-time road player. The Sixers, I loved seeing Embiid and Durant jawing back and forth at each other. Embiid, when the Sixers beat them the last game, Embiid was kind of doing the motion that Durant did, like get off the court. That was awesome to see. I really like that. But then at the end, they both gave each other a double thumbs up. So apparently they're friends, but the healthy rivalry, which I liked. We have to talk about this one, Stu, no matter what. Jalen Brown dropping 50 after we really kind of excoriated him on the last show. And then you got Toronto Raptors are healthy, and they're the people that follow the Raptors. I'm hearing a lot of buzz that they think they're going to go on a nice little run here. So that's kind of all the notes I had on the teams in the East. So maybe we can start with the Celtics, Stu, because since you and I had talked about them, we even had a text exchange about them, and then we'll let the King pick one story that he wants to hit. But we're slamming Jalen Brown. We're saying the team takes too many threes. He leads them to the overtime win. Granted, it was against Orlando, but leads them to that overtime win, 50 points, 5 for 10, 3-point shooting. So what do you have to say for yourself now?
Well, I think that kind of falls in line what we did say. You said that Jalen Brown puts up big games, but he's just not consistent. Sometimes he'll have 50, and then the next game he'll go out and have 12 and shoot 3 for 14. That's kind of the way Jalen Brown has been. Now, certainly he's taking on more of the load with Tatum out, so he's certainly shooting the ball. And I think it's kind of a situation where he feels like he can showcase his talents, and he does a good job. But he's just, my biggest concern with him is he's not consistent. We'll see what he does the next game. He put up 50, but I like to see what his shooting number is going to be the next game or the game after that. So, I mean, I like Jalen Brown. I felt like maybe we were a little too hard on him, but overall, I like him. I wish he had a little more game to him, moving forward. So I don't know.
Now, that's very, very well said. I think I agree with all that. The other thing that I just want to get your opinion on, both of you, is you still hear the trade rumors of Jalen Brown for Ben Simmons. Why would the Celtics ever do that?
Never.
Exactly. So why is it just like a pipe dream in Philly? Like they're kind of.
I just think it's a fit. I think it's a fit for the Celtics. It gives them their point guard, kind of big point guard that they could use to distribute the ball, and they eliminate that wing combination kind of problem that they have. But I'd rather have the upside of Jalen Brown over. I don't even know if there's upside with Ben Simmons anymore, so I'd definitely rather have Jalen Brown.
Can I extrapolate on that for a second?
Go ahead.
I was watching a YouTube video, and it was on Markelle Fultz. And it was a picture of when he first got signed, and it was him, Simmons, and Embiid. And they're taking photos as if they're the next big three future. Like, Stu, at that point, you had to think we're going to be dominant. Because Fultz was number 1 overall?
Yeah, he was.
3, right? Embiid was a 1, and then Ben Simmons was either 3 or 6, right?
Could you imagine if the Sixers just took Jason Tatum? They could have taken him at number 1. They took Fultz. So imagine if they had Fultz, Embiid, and Simmons.
But the Celtics traded out of there because they didn't want Fultz. That was what was scary that I don't think that the Sixers noticed. But anyways, the fact that the Sixers had those 3 names, like in other words, when they drafted Fultz, what they thought they had in those 3 players should have been the cornerstone for, like, that was the process right there, right? That was the payoff, was Fultz, who could no longer shoot. Literally, that's what Philly did to him. He started shooting free throws that are all clunky and shots that are bad. He made you feel bad. I never want to feel bad for a basketball player while he's playing. That's a downer. Like, I don't want to turn on a game and feel bad for someone playing basketball because they just look like they don't know what they're doing, or they're mentally falling apart. And then while that's happening, no one's noticing that Simmons isn't getting any better. He can't hit a jumper. He can't hit free throws. And Embiid barely on the floor. Like, I look at that big three and I think to myself, oh my God, the hopes and dreams that were tied up in those three kids at that one point in time, and how badly they all have handled where they're at. Like, to me, as great as Embiid is, not one of them has paid off to what I thought they were going to be at that moment. Stu, does that make any sense as a Sixer fan?
Yeah, that does make sense. And you're right. Yeah, the Sixers had the first pick in the 2017 draft from Boston. So Boston would have taken Tatum at 1. So, yeah, I guess the Sixers never could have had Tatum because the Celtics drafted him at 3. So, yeah, that makes sense. I've never seen anything like Markelle Fultz. He was a pretty good player at Washington. I've seen a few games when he played for the Huskies. He was pretty dominant. He could shoot, go to the lane, and then I've never seen a player. It was like Space Jam where he just could not shoot the ball. Still to this day, don't really understand what happened. He said it was an injury with his shoulder, but that was seemed more than an injury with his shoulder. But he's never really, he's gotten better, but he's never really gotten back to that number 1 pick in the draft kind of status. That's for sure.
It makes you wonder about the franchise, what they have for mental doctors that could help, just anybody in the building that cares about these kids, because they're getting wacky. Am I wrong in saying that? It's a little off. They're a little off key. A lot of those guys. What's going on with Philly?
Yeah, there's something like their sports performance psychologist, whatever they call the team there in Philly. There's something wrong with it because the stuff Ben Simmons says is just whacked. And I don't mean this this season with whatever he's going. I mean even last season. There's a couple of quotes I read to you guys where I was like, you can tell this guy is never going to be great. One of my favorite ones is when someone said they were talking about a jump shot and his developing a jump shot, and he said, "I'm still an all-star without one." Do you think Michael Jordan would have said that? Even Russell Westbrook, if you tell him he can't go left, he'll go left on you 10 times in a row and dunk it to show you.
People forget where he's from. Ben Simmons, where he
actually Philadelphia picked first in the 2017 draft. Yes, they could have taken Tatum. So wait, I got confused there, but they could.
But the Celtics still traded that, knowing that the Sixers weren't taking Tatum. That was actually Ainge's only really good move, other than stealing Garnett. I mean, he knew to trade back because that Tatum would still be there. They wanted Tatum the whole time, the Celtics, and the Sixers didn't.
Yeah, the thing was, Fultz was a better fit for the Sixers at that time, but there was nothing to stop. There was nothing to stop the Sixers from drafting Tatum. I don't know. That would have been a much different, situation for the Sixers.
In hindsight,
that's for sure.
Yeah. And I remember the Celtics did the whole thing of gassing up Fultz, where they had him. They flew him in and they picked him up at the airport in Red Auerbach's old Mercedes. The whole thing, and then they ended up not taking him and trading out or whatever they did to not end up not taking him and take Tatum instead. It was kind of left a bad taste in some people's mouths because it seemed like it was a little bit planned to kind of get the Sixers a little more a little higher on it.
I mean, I got to give Danny Ainge credit for that. Jason Tatum was good at Duke, but I didn't think he'd be this good in the NBA, and he's been this good really quickly too. I thought he'd be another guy who'd take a while to develop. And the thing is with the Sixers, I got to give them credit because when they took Embiid, he wasn't. I mean, he was a good player in Kansas, but it was really Andrew Wiggins who was the star of the show at Kansas, and Embiid was kind of this young Cameroonian big man that, he had a lot of potential, but he certainly wasn't a sure bet. And it was really Andrew Wiggins who was the prize talent on Kansas, but.
But put those 3 draft picks together. Put those 3 high draft picks together, right? And I'm going to say fail. As great as Embiid is, I still have to say 2 number 1s and a number 3 or 6. I forget what Simmons was. That's a fail. You got one that he completely forgot how to shoot, which is unheard of. And then the second one who kind of forgot how to shoot but didn't care, right? And he's got all these issues. And then, again, even Embiid, as great as he is, he misses so many games. It seems like he started the whole rest thing going on in the NBA. Rest time, So I don't know.
All right.
Well, the Sixers also drafted Jahlil Okafor too. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was
that's another
not a good pick. They could have taken in that draft. They could have taken Porzingis. You know, it was looking like a much better pick for Porzingis at the time. Porzingis hasn't really turned out to be that great of a player. He's certainly good, certainly a lot better than Okafor, but that was kind of a blown pick there. But I thought Okafor would have been pretty good. He's just too slow and not very mobile. That was his biggest problem in the pros.
All right,
apparently, they weren't moving that fast in college for Okafor because
we want to talk about the Sixers and the Celtics for the next 20 more minutes.
That's what I was going to say. We're not doing it. We got to move on. King, I'll give you a choice. Is there any one of these teams you want to talk about quickly, or we should probably move on to the West? But we did kind of monopolize it a little bit with the Celtics and then the Sixers here. Good.
No, I'm good. I'm good to go anywhere you want to go.
All right, excellent. So let's go to the West. So let's see here. There's a lot of stuff going on in the West, but there's a couple of things I want to talk about with the bottom teams actually. So King, your guy, Josh Giddey, youngest player to ever get a triple double. He broke, I think it was LaMelo. LaMelo Ball, was LaMelo Ball? One of the Ball brothers. I think it was LaMelo. No, Lonzo. Whatever. Either he broke it by like 6 or 8 months or something, which is pretty amazing. You've been high on him all year. So you want to take a quick victory lap on Giddey?
No, I had to get off the Junior. Junior's the one who gave me this list of like rookies that were gonna make impacts this year. He's like, they're gonna be good this year. And Kev, again, I keep saying it because it's true. I read it to you, and you were like, but tell him to write me a list of it. And I remember telling him that, and he was like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And he was right. There's been a lot this year. They just, like I said, there's a lot of rookies that just know who they are already, if that makes sense. Like the Giddies and the guys like that. They know who they are. They know what they're going to do. They kind of have their role. They already get it. Whereas a lot of rookies don't know what they're going to do, who they're going to be. Some of these guys get their roles carved out. They know who they are. It's crazy.
Well, you can let Junior know that when everyone was fawning over his fantasy football team, I was on the record saying it would fade. And
true.
Yeah, so
that's true.
He and I will straighten this all out as time passes.
He's gonna have to watch my belt all the time, Kevin.
Oh yeah. If I win, I'm gonna still have you put it in your bar, so it's behind you every time you do the show.
Put it in a case.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. The other thing we have to talk about is the Rockets. Man, what the heck's going on in Houston? The stories over that halftime incident with Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. and I think it was Wood who threw something at. I don't think didn't throw something at John Lucas, but John Lucas was giving him a little bit of, like, apparently a lecture. Then Kevin Porter Jr. ends up deciding he's not going to play the second half. Dresses up, drives home. Wood, they asked him to go in. Apparently, he wouldn't go in. Then the coach spins the story and says it was his choice not to put him in. Now both of them are suspended for the game against the Sixers. So, anyone what are you guys' thoughts on that whole situation down in Houston with those two young guys?
I mean, it's hard not to blame Raphael Stone, their general manager, on this one. They have like no veteran influence on that team, and they have they're kind of a bunch of malcontents. Kevin Porter Jr. has had history in the past with the Cavaliers, where that's why they got rid of him, because he was causing all sorts of problems. Christian Wood was a little surprising. I don't know if he has the cachet to like not go back in the game. He's a guy who kind of came out of nowhere to rise on the scene in the NBA. For him not to be going in the game, I don't know if he has that kind of pull yet. And then they have other guys like young players like Jayshawn Tate and Jalen Green, but there's no veteran on that team. Like, who is there to like show these guys like how to play as a team and how to have just good team chemistry? There's nobody. I don't know anyone on the Rockets roster that's a veteran other than Eric Gordon, who's not exactly the model veteran player you want. He's been he's not a bad influence, but he's had his issues in the past too as well. And
what do you think about like the John Wall situation? Like, could he have helped with some of this? I know they're not playing him because they're trying to trade him, but would he have been the kind of guy who could help, or is he? Yeah, you're shaking your head, King. No.
Look, John Wall. You don't want to let John Wall into cell block H. Houston ain't right? They're being run by the wrong people. The wrong guys are playing on that team. It's the land of the misfit toys. So you don't want to take a temper or somebody who's the real deal like John Wall and throw him into that. I don't think that would benefit him at all. He would not fit with that. That would not jive with him. There would be problems. So,
but that's a good point, King. But it's unfair to John Wall. Like John Wall is still trying to win. He's still, he's not in his prime, but he's towards the end of his prime. He's getting older, so he wants to win now. For him to mentor all these young kids is unfair to John Wall. It's not like he's in a situation where like Udonis Haslem is in Miami, where he's in the twilight of his career. He's just there to mentor guys. John Wall is, if he could ever get healthy, when he plays, he's good. He's still good. So I don't know if John Wall is the guy you want mentoring the Rockets. I don't know why they still have him. I feel like they should just get rid of him. Let him go somewhere else where he can do his thing. I guess they feel like they can get some value for him still. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. The Rockets are a mess. I don't know what they're doing. They have a lot of young talent, but nothing of any type of cohesion or chemistry on that team at all.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to put it. I think they're supposedly trying to trade Wall, but his contract is monstrous, and he's just getting paid not to play, which is crazy. All right, King, I'm going to give you a choice. You want to talk about the Lakers a little bit? Because apparently all the rage has been LeBron James playing center, doing more of these smaller lineups. He's actually playing really well. The team he's put up some crazy numbers. He doesn't, he's one thing about him that I can say. I'm not, you guys know I'm not his biggest fan, but he will play any position that needs to be played. And I think that's kind of cool to see. But they're 3-1 over the last week. They're trading Rondo away. Anything else anything you want to say about the Lakers?
No, I don't buy that bullshit of him playing down low, playing center or whatnot. You know what I can't stand about him is he does something like that, and people say, "Oh my God, you see what he did? He played center. Can you believe he played center? Yeah, he did really good. He helped out." When all along he could be the best, period, in any position, every single game. That's the problem with him, right? Looking back on his career is that I can say, if he wanted to, if he really wanted to, he probably could have scored like 60 a game, maybe got like 20 rebounds, like 4 or 5 blocks, like for real. So when I see him do stuff like this, it doesn't make me go, good for LeBron for pitching in and helping out. It makes me go, look at that son of a bitch. He can play that position too like that. You know what I mean? He could be doing that on like Thursdays, but he doesn't do it. So it's not like, good. I knew you could do shit. Like I knew you could be doing all this stuff. I don't buy in his bullshit. I think it's all fake. He's the king of pulling back the reins, man. I don't know if he's ever given 100. Well, when he wants to give 100%, he does. So I don't know. I don't like the man.
And Stu, I thought this was going to be a quick little, hey, things are looking a little bit better in LA. LeBron is doing some of the dirty work, but I guess not.
I don't have anything interesting to add to the Lakers.
No, that's fine.
Don't you think that though about the way that he plays like that, as if you feel like he could do that any night?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly probably the best center on the team, and they have DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard, both guys who were once good, like the rest of the Lakers roster, but not good anymore. He's the best center on. He's the best center on the team. He's the best every position player on the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But he could have done shit like this his whole career. We know you know what I mean. I don't feel like he's ever given us his best, guys.
Yeah, and I want to move on from LeBron in the Lakers, but yeah, that's exactly how I look at it too. Like that's why I don't like him, because it always looked like he could have won like 8 championships if he actually tried, and maybe it's just the way he carries himself, because I don't know what's in his head. Maybe he is really trying, and the way he runs, the way he moves, makes it look like he's not. I don't know, but it always to me looked like he could probably have won almost any year that he chose to. That's how
I feel like that's more pronounced with Jordan. Man, like Jordan retired in the middle of his heyday. I mean, he could have literally had 8 in a row, possibly.
Kev, here's my example. This is my impersonation of me inside LeBron's head. Hello.
All right.
Yeah, you guys criticize LeBron way too much.
No, not enough.
He's
Not enough.
He's a fantastic player. I mean, he doesn't,
we're
for whatever reason, his personality does rub people the wrong way. But he's not a bad guy. He's kind of a nitwit.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. He carries books upside down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The problem is he's a nitwit, but he thinks he's brilliant. That's
Yep. There it is. There it is.
I brought this up as like a plus. I wanted to say, like, it was one of the few times I started this thing on him saying positive things. I said I don't like him, but I will say he's always played whatever position needed to be played and do whatever needs to be done. And we still ended up trashing him. So we're gonna move on.
Did you see the Amon Shumpert interview with was that Steven Jackson and what's his name for I can't think of his name, Matt Barnes? They asked him, they were asking him questions on one of the questions they asked about Amon Shumpert, and they said Amon Shumpert said that LeBron knows he ruined the NBA. He knows he ruined basketball by, starting those super teams. And he said that. And I was surprised Amon Shumpert said that because, they seem to be like close teammates over the years. So I was surprised.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. All right. So, guys, we still got to get through any fantasy pickups. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Any of these other teams you want to talk about? It's interesting to me that Dallas went on a good run with Luka out, but obviously none of us are dumb enough to think they're better off without him. But how do they integrate him back in? And the other thing that jumped out to me was obviously the Grizzlies, how hot they are right now, and what their ceiling is. If either one of you want to comment on either one of those two things or any of these other teams, feel free to.
Right.
If not, we'll move over to fantasy.
Grizzlies having a great run. I agree with that. I was watching that. I was checking that out. And I tend to like the bet on the Grizzlies. For some reason, they go with the spread. But then you look up and you see teams that they just can't play with. You know what I mean? Like Golden State and stuff like that. So as good as I think the Grizzlies are, I think they're like the best of the second level. If that makes any sense. Yeah,
no, that makes perfect sense. Exactly. No, good way to put it. All right, gents. So the other thing I'm looking at is my bets on this. These team over-unders are not looking great. I don't want to get into detail on all of them, but I'm in danger of losing 6 out of 8 of these or 5 out of 7. So you need to make it up when individual game bets. All right, so moving on to the fantasy aspect of things, let me stop sharing this screen. So now we're in week 12 of the NBA season. Like I said at the start of the show, we're 12 weeks in, 44% of the games have been played. So we're almost at the halfway point. Now, in fantasy football, I know like say we were in week 8 of the NFL season, I would know that the only way I'm going to get a big free agent that's going to contribute is if there's an injury. Because there's no more guys that are going to sneak up. Like the roles are defined. You need somebody to get hurt to really find somebody that's going to make an impact at that part of the season. In the NBA, in fantasy basketball, like, are you guys still churning rosters, looking for players to improve categories here and there? Is it still very active free agency? You know what I mean? Like, how's the philosophy different than maybe fantasy football?
Let me jump on that one. So here's the other problem. Basketball is different from football in the sense that you need a good starting 5, and then after that, it doesn't really matter that much. But it's great to have a bench, but like you got to have like star players, so there's less of them. So there's more of an importance, more of a pop from them. You can find free agents that are gonna like have a run because someone's hurt, or that are gonna maybe get a little bit better than the guy you have on your bench. But at this point in the year, I don't know. Stu will talk next, but it's not like you're gonna find that diamond in the rough yet if you haven't really been looking. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just tough. It's difficult with basketball. Football, like every week, you get this new guy you never heard of that all of a sudden he's got the chance to be the starting running back, and God only knows what could happen to his career. It just doesn't happen like that in basketball.
All right.
I think it depends on how you're playing. Are you playing short-term strategy, or are you playing long-term strategy? So I'll give you an example like the Detroit Pistons. So as a guy I mentioned earlier, Hamidou Diallo, he's been playing a lot of minutes for Detroit because they have half their team is out. And the other night he had 34 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks in one game. That's like 3 players worth of stats in one game. So if you're playing the short-term strategy and you want to add players, I feel like now is the greatest time to be adding players short-term because everyone's out. So if you want to play that game of, at the end of the bench, you don't have guys you really feel like that you should keep, and you could drop them and add. You can do that. I try and do that with my team, but I just kind of like all my players. So I'm playing like more of a long-term strategy. So I got a guy, Isaiah Stewart, the center for the Pistons. He hasn't been playing that well, but I feel like down the stretch, the Pistons are going to give him as many minutes as they can give him because they're going to be way out of the playoffs. There's going to be nothing to play for, and why not give him 30, 35 minutes every night? And I'd rather keep an Isaiah Stewart than to pick up a Hamidou Diallo who's is going to be probably out of the rotation or back to the bench in a couple of weeks. So it depends on the strategy you're playing.
But there's not as much pop as in football. Football, even in the first couple of weeks are always popping with guys that you didn't even expect.
Well, it's more obvious in football. So if a starting running back goes down, all right, it's like, duh, you're going to go pick up the backup. Yeah. Where in fantasy basketball, you have to be a little more savvy. Jalen Brunson is a perfect example of that. He had played in the past. He put up some pretty good numbers, but I think Jesse picked him up. And I thought it was a good move at the time. I didn't know he was going to be this good. So you kind of see trends with players in basketball where I say this all the time. I feel like fantasy football is a lot easier than fantasy basketball. It's just like I feel like the moves are obvious in fantasy football where, I kind of got lucky with Rashad Penny in football this year, but that I feel like that's a once in a million type thing. Or not a once in a million, but once a season type ad. Where in fantasy basketball, you could do that quite often.
All right.
Let's put it this way, Kev. You can get the pink hats to come play fantasy football with you, and yay, have that party on Sunday where you do the draft. But they ain't playing no fantasy basketball.
No,
ain't happening. It's just a different type of league,
No, I like that. I like the way you guys kind of broke it down. But okay, so all that said, usually this part of the show, you throw out a couple of names of guys that you are looking at. So maybe are you at a point maybe with the injuries and things you can find there are a couple of short-term names that you think would be worth adding at this juncture? Because I got a few names that I'm seeing mentioned, but King, is there anyone you want to throw out that's worth picking up after all that?
Honestly, I don't know if Stu feels this, but I get to a point where I go on hold with players until the All-Star break, until I get that there's gonna be a bunch of trades coming up right now, a bunch of just fixing on things and figuring out who they are and everybody who's gonna be where. Rondo, if he goes to where he's going, he might be 11 assists tonight, right? 12 assists tonight.
Yeah.
That's actually a good question. So in your league, is Rondo available or is he on a team?
He's available right now. I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see what he's going to do in Cleveland, what his role is. But it's like the King said, he very easily could be that 10 assists a night guy, just to see how many minutes they play him in the situation with Darius Garland there. But I've seen him slotting into that role that Rubio was playing. And while he may not be as good a scorer as Rubio, not a good a shooter, obviously, but he certainly can distribute the ball and put up the same assists that Rubio has. It probably could exceed it too as well. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious. So if this were, and obviously it's not a one-to-one thing. You guys just explained why not. But the speculative ad is that not as prominent? There's no one Brother Ray's not going to go and try to pick up Rondo just to see where he goes because that's his specialty in corrupted league. Just pick up somebody that might be moving to a situation that's going to be positive. Whereas you guys say Rondo is still kind of sitting out there. So there's not as much of that sort of speculative.
He doesn't offer enough. The issue is, even if he does do really well, he's gonna do only well in a couple of categories.
Yeah,
you know what I'm gonna say? That's what worries me with him. I don't know what Stu thinks, but he might do 15 assists, but have 3 points.
Okay,
that's the thing. That's the thing with fantasy basketball. You sit there and weigh the numbers. You could do it all night long. It's wow, you really need assists. All right, great. I'm gonna add Rondo, but I need points too, and I need field goal percentage. But he get me some steals, but I know he's not going to hit any 3-pointers. It's you got to really do the math all the time. It's a tougher situation. Yeah. The one thing I will say about speculative ads is I think if you're going to do speculative ads, you should do it on bad teams. So just example, I have Obi Toppin on my roster. He had 16, 6, and 6 the other night. He doesn't do that every night because he doesn't get playing time.
Yeah.
But again, another guy down the stretch where I have a feeling the Knicks are going to be out of it. What are they going to just keep grinding Julius Randle into the ground every night. So I don't know, we'll see. Probably.
No. All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. This has been very interesting. And the other thing, you guys, I'm sure you're aware, but next season, when Coach TJ and myself join your league, you're going to go from 10 to 12 teams. So there's going to be a little dilution, and it's probably going to make some of these guys maybe worth an ad. That obviously it's going to have to. Some of these guys that may not have been worth an ad are going to be worth an ad.
I still want to push for only keeping 4 guys. I feel like it's a little unfair for us to keep all 5. I feel like that's the best we could do, because otherwise it could cause too much disruption in the league. I'm going to try and push for that, because another 10 guys in the draft, I feel like 4 is better than 5. What do you think, King? But just for next season.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, 40 or 50. But I was just trying to be a little equitable here.
Yeah, don't.
I say screw them. Basically,
exactly. Of course you do. All right, gentlemen. Okay, so we're actually at the hour mark. But I know, King, we wanted to get through the next round of that exercise. We might have to maybe give it a quick preview now.
Yeah, I just want to preview it,
and then we'll do it on Thursday.
I'm with that. So listen, guys, we ended up doing it, and Stu, when I go back, we were much more generous with the East than we were with the West.
I thought so.
So here, it came down to the Bulls, the Bucks, the Pistons, the Cavaliers, the Heat, the Nets, the Celtics, the Magic, the Sixers, and the Knicks, all from the East. That's 6, 9, 10. 10 teams representing the 15. In the West, we went with the Spurs, Rockets, Warriors, Lakers, and Thunder.
Well, I think the reason is because I think the teams in the East are older teams. So the Celtics and the Sixers date back to a long time. So they have a long history of players where, I don't know, all
right, but I just want to say one thing. There's just Kev, there's a team. Let me just give you the teams that surprised me the most. And that would be, I'll just give you these 3: Houston, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee. Just because, again, to recap it, Milwaukee is Lou Alcindor, Giannis, Moncrief, Oscar Robinson, and Ray Allen, right? And then the Rockets are Olajuwon, Harden, McGrady, touchdown, Deontay Johnson.
Yep, that's going to be it, I think.
I may be a legit fantasy football champ. It'll be the first fantasy football championship I've ever won in almost 30 years. Let me get back to this. The Rockets were Olajuwon, Harden, McGrady, Yao Ming, and Ralph Sampson. Like, that team right there made me want to get sick. But like the last one would be the Sixers. Barkley, Dr. J, AI, Embiid, and Chamberlain. Oh, these teams would be nasty to watch play. Yep. So I want to break down these 15 next show. We'll go over them all, and we'll add like a dummy team. We'll give one team a bye, and then we'll break it down into brackets until we figure out who we think the best is.
Yeah, all right, cool. King, that'll be so we'll do it on Thursday. That's cool. We might have to look at the balance of East and West. Like you said, I agree with what Stu said. The East is older teams, but what is it, like 10-5 or something? 9-6? What's the split?
10-5. 10-5.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But just so unless Deontay Johnson did, so I'm ahead by 2/100ths of a point. So at his next catch, it's all over. You got the win. So you need him to get one more catch.
1.02. You're at 1.02 above me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So his next catch, we'll do it, unless it's for no yards or he loses yards. But yeah, I hope it goes down to like the fourth quarter or something.
I hope so too. I can't believe it doesn't seem real to me, because I'll be honest. Like I said, I've never been on the winning side of any of these, and I've been in like at least 4 to 5, maybe 6 championships.
Yep.
Talk about being the odd man out in this conversation, huh?
Well, Stu, I know you got You got bad news. Well, we should probably wrap up the show, but maybe we talk. But I know you did catch a bad break in the Corrupted Bowl. So Steve goes back to back, which is crazy. Not crazy because his team was solid, but with all the injuries and the players he played, you and I were texting about it over the weekend. I didn't think he was going to pull it off.
You need magic to win fantasy football in that league.
I know. And he won another league that he and I are in. That's an auction league, and he missed the first 4 players that were thrown out for auction. So. Like his year, he's on fire right now.
Yeah, good for him. It was a he had a nice run down the stretch in the playoffs. That's for sure.
So anyway, it's a good shout out to Steve. I don't know. We don't have a name for him yet, so we just call him Steve. All right, gentlemen, we're gonna wrap up basketball. We're at the hour 5. Good show. We got all our picks in. I haven't been watching the scores, but I'll let you guys know on Thursday how we did. Any final thoughts from you, King?
No, honestly, it's weird. Fantasy basketball is about to become just full-time all the time. That's it, because fantasy football is about to cave in. So it's a weird time of year, but I just want to win this goddamn championship and and I'm looking into the camera, your legit fantasy football champion. Be the type of champion that fantasy football has needed for a long time now. The type of champion that will carry the championship with pride, that will make sure people know when he's in the house and who he is. I want to be that champion for all of you more than I want to be it for myself. I'm selfless.
Yeah, nice. That's good to see, King. I'm really glad, because that you are right. That's what fantasy sports has been missing for the last 40 years. It's the champion who wins for the little guy, for us. Yep. Big Stu, your final thoughts on basketball?
I'm just going to agree with the King on the first half of what he was saying. I feel like the NBA, I think I touched upon in the last show, or the show before that, where I feel like the NBA is a workhorse from now until March, April. I think the only other sport is Major League Baseball in the summer, but there's a lot of other things to do in the summertime, so it's not that big a deal. And from now until March, April, the NBA kind of kicks in and kind of saves our winters. So props to the NBA. And good luck to you, King, tonight. I mean, I don't want to take sides on this, Kev, but Mike seems really into it, and he's going for his first title. So I don't know. I don't want to take sides.
All right, cool. All right, we'll let that slide. So my comment on that, though, it's strange that I'm strangely enough, I'm looking forward to the playoffs starting in the NFL for 2 reasons. One, because there's so many fewer games, and it will free up more time to spend on basketball. Because unfortunately, trying to do 2 of these things full time is tough. And I agree with King. Like, it's football definitely takes a lot of time out of it. So I got to tell you this.
I got to say this though, that genius. Me and Brother Ray, once upon a time, had a really big XFL following. And come this spring, there's a really good chance we will be firing back up the XFL show.
All right, we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see where that lands. But I can't. I will tell you that as soon. That's it. As soon as the regular week 18 plays out, I'll be making a lot more NBA bets. We'll have a lot more to talk about in terms of NBA betting. We might have to do a quick couple-minute show a couple times a week just to talk about the betting. But anyway, this has been a show. We've been a little bit all over the place, but I think we did cover some good ground with the bets. I like the team review. I think we did a little good deep dive on a couple of teams there. So I would like to thank the King and thank Big Stu for their participation as usual. And this is Genius Kev signing off for Legit Fantasy Basketball. We will see you on Thursday.